Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 127 of the J Situation Podcast. I'm recording this on August 23rd, 2022. Hope you're all doing well on this fine day. I really do. It's very late. I've just started this recording. It is 10 p.m. local time. I had a lot to do today, and we're getting it in, but man, it is not early. It is the opposite of that. We're going to do a great job here. We're going to go through the topics as planned, and it's going to be great. I hope you guys were all able to get some shooting in this past weekend and stuff. Or maybe at least a chance to go outside or maybe do some physical activity, But I guess sometimes it feels good to relax too. So I don't know. Whatever you've been up to, I hope you're having fun. I've been able to really catch up on my powerlifting. I have, and my gym time. Been getting back into the gym, getting on more of a regular schedule feels good. I've been shooting more. I shot again on Saturday, not for a super long time, but I needed to do some ranch work. So, I took out the SCAR, of course. Man, I took the adjustable gas regulator out, the Mototech SCARburator. I put that on the SCAR and I shot it on there. It was interesting. I don't think we're going to have time on today's episode to talk about that. So I think a SCAR update's going to have to wait until next week. But nonetheless, just to let you know, I did get that and it's kind of interesting. Now, I also tried out my new helmet I got. I got a helmet. It's cool because I've been messing with this PVS 14 night vision device, right? This monocular, and I mounted it to the helmet there. And I'm more of a thermal guy, so I was messing with my thermals and with the night vision, and it was very interesting. And again, I'm not sure we're going to have time to go into that either on today's episode with the other topics I have planned, and with the time I have to record this thing. So we're going to have to wait and hit that next time too. But in the meantime, what I'll do is I'll post a photo with the podcast of some cool thermal stuff and of the helmet and things like that. It's neat. I even got some clips to put the Ops Core amps on the helmet too. It's really neat. And I think that's going to be really convenient when I use it more. Yeah, that's correct. I like to use hearing protection quite often. I do. Yeah, even with silencers. I like to use hearing protection, because silencers are supplementary hearing protection. That's right. It's all a system. It all works together. And when you're ready to get a silencer, one place you could do so, if you were so inclined, is from Silencer Shop. That's right. The J Situation Podcast is proudly sponsored by Silencer Shop. You can use their kiosk, do your fingerprints and your photos electronically. And in turn, you cut down on errors and you simplify your silencer purchasing process. You get a money-back guarantee. It's great. No transfer fees, no paperwork errors, just you and your silencer with no drama. It truly is silencer ownership simplified. That's right, it is. And you should check out True Shot Gun Club out of Arizona. You should click the link in the show notes there on the website, thepewscience.com/podcast. On every episode, there's a link to True Shot Gun Club, and in your Spotify app, you can click the link. It takes you to their site. You buy ammo using the link. It helps the podcast. It helps PEW Science. And if you want to join their A-Zone membership to get free shipping on all the ammo you buy throughout the whole year, use code word PEW Science. You get $20 off the membership. That's right. You win, they win, you help the podcast. Simple. And lastly, and most importantly, the last ad that you have to sit through today, if you choose to, is this podcast is sponsored by PEW Science, pushing the silencer industry forward one test at a time. Visit PEWScience.com for the suppression rating. It is the simplest and the most accurate hearing safe rating for your suppressed small arms, and it's based on true inner ear response. That's right. From the entire gunshot, from before combustion takes place, all the way until all the combustion is gone. Okay, it's in section 5 of the Silencer Sound Standard. That's where the suppression rating is. People always ask me, well, what's the suppression rating? Well, there's a whole section of the standard on the website that you can see, and it's right there. There's reviews in section 6 of the standard, and then finally in section 7 has all the rankings That's right, a simple database tool with which you can sort and filter all the public test results. When you find something you like, you click the links in the table and it'll take you back to section 6 where you can look at the most in-depth silencer data in the world. And I did, just so you know, members, I did update. I did a new rankings table for you members. So when you're in the members table and you click the links, it takes you back to the member reviews. Just so you know. I was going to tell you that on the podcast, but I was so excited I wouldn't tell you now. That's right. And as always, if you're a manufacturer and you would like to use PEW Science for private testing and consulting services, there's a form on the website with which you can submit that inquiry. Your contact information and all the test data we generate as part of any effort with you is held in strict confidence, unless, of course, you want us to release it to the public. In which case, PEW Science can certainly help you do that. We did it again last week, and we'll talk about that GSL Phoenix review today on the podcast. That's right. You can support this podcast. You can support PEW Science. You can support all the testing that I do by joining with a membership at pewscience.com. There's a new donate feature on the website, on the review page and the podcast page. Every little bit helps. You can give a little bit, you can give a lot of it, you can give nothing at all with that function there. And something that's free, doesn't cost you anything. You can give the podcast a good rating on iTunes or Spotify. Let's everyone know that silencers and guns are awesome. They say, oh, people seem to like this podcast. What's this about? Oh, it's about silencers. Oh, I thought those were scary. Well, no, they're not scary at all. They're awesome. That's right. Okay. 3 topics for you today. Kind of a packed podcast and information. Topic 1, Member Research Supplement 685. That's right. Unsuppressed subguns. The HK SP5 and SP5K PDW as silencer test hosts. That's right. We're adding more weapons to the standard. We are. That's a public article for everybody. We'll talk about that. Topic 2, Sound Signature Review 686. The GSL Phoenix on the MP5. Well, the SP5, actually. Not the MP5, but the semi-automatic analog. And regardless, how cool was that? That's right, man. And you know what? There was a third-party engineering peer review that occurred with that article, so we'll talk a little bit about that as well. What a time to be alive. Man. It's almost like this is a legitimate effort. It's cool. And finally, topic 3. Man, again, no time for a SCAR update today. I'm sorry, guys. There's just no time. But we'll do one on the Mototech SCARburator next time. But I did want to tell you in this update that, again, I updated the website for PEW Science members. You have your own rankings table. You can get directly to the articles from the table itself. And I just really want to thank you for your support and for your patience while I got that going. So, okay. Let's move into topic 1. I had a time of 8 minutes and 11 seconds. All right, guys. I'm debating. Okay, so it's 10 p.m. Do I take some pre-workout, thus getting me through the podcast, but possibly interrupting my sleep? See, I haven't eaten dinner yet either. Oh, what am I going to do? I got to get something. I'm going to pause it. Okay, I'm going to pause it 1 second. Okay, I'm back. I just took a little bit. I was like, I can't do a whole scoop. That would be crazy. I didn't even want to do a half. I was like, let me get a little bit. Just get a little bit of pep. Is it going to work? I don't know. I feel some tingle. It should be okay. He's like, he's using drugs. I am. I'm using caffeine. Okay, yeah, caffeine's a drug, and honestly, it's really the only way we're going to make it through. So let's do it. Member Research Supplement 685. Yeah. Oh man, let me pull it up on pewscience.com. And you guys can follow along at home as well. This is public research. That's right. Same for members as it is for folks. I think I got pre-workout in my eye. How did that happen? Oh, it's probably because it's like the particulates are just really small in size. How many microns is a pre-workout particulate? Ow. Oh, it burns. Yeah, so I went and did it again, didn't I? I added another host weapon to the standard. That's right. Well, actually, not one host weapon, but two. That's right. The HK MP5 and MP5K. But not exactly those. I added the SP5 and the SP5K PDW. Yeah, so those two weapons, excuse me, those two weapons, now included in the standard, are the semi-automatic civilian legal analogs of the automatic submachine guns from Heckler und Koch. Yeah, das ist good. Yeah, HK is interesting. It's a little interesting because the German government, if they consider the weapon to be a military weapon, used for military purposes, they won't let you sell them for civilian use. You see, like literally, they won't. And so, like, okay, here's an example. Like, if for some reason the German government decided that the SP5 was also a military weapon, you wouldn't be able to buy that either. Like, even though it's a semi-auto. You feel me? I'm told this directly from HK. Like, HK told me. Like, this is... so here we are. Like everyone talking about, like, the HK 416 and how, I'm going to get a new HK 416. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're not going to get one. If there's one in the country already in civilian hands, you can get one, but I don't know how else you're going to get one. I mean, there's little loopholes and stuff, but I guess one could fall off a truck or something, but HK's not selling those. Unless you're law enforcement or military, and they're not going to be able to sell them to you. Right? So that's the story. That's the same thing with the MP5. I mean, yeah, it's a machine gun, but everyone thinks it's because of the Hughes Amendment. Well, it is. The Hughes Amendment's one thing. But with HK, you can't get the guns, man. It doesn't matter. It's Germany doing it. So, when it came time to select the roller lock gun, the roller delayed blowback guns for this, I mean, how lucky. How lucky are we to have genuine HK subguns? I mean, yeah, they're not full auto, but you notice in the articles I've been using the term subgun. It's because I wanted to use the term submachine gun, but they're semi-auto, so I couldn't bring myself to write it. But I didn't want to say PCC because it's cringy to me. So I wrote subguns. And you know what? It's okay because there's precedent. Remember the old website Subguns? That was great. So here we are. All this is not really that important for this podcast topic, but I think it's interesting. I think I wanted you guys to know that stuff about HK. People get really upset at HK, and I think your frustration is a little misplaced. So what I did with this research supplement was I published it so folks could understand something about how 9mm works out of a subgun. That's right, and because there seems to be some confusion out there. And so this research supplement's public. Like I said, it's public just like the research supplement 651 was. Remember when I showed you unsuppressed Mark 18 waveforms in supplement 651, and people were like, "Whoa, we didn't know there was a huge secondary combustion event with the 10.3-inch Mark 18 barrel. We didn't know what the pressure waveforms looked like. We just thought unsuppressed rifles were all loud." Yeah. When you ask someone how loud an unsuppressed rifle is, have you ever been shown the actual blast pressure 1 meter left of the muzzle? Not until now. Unless you read academic papers. You don't. Now you have the silencer sound standard. Okay, it's even better. So, We did the same thing this time with 9mm from the SP5 and the SP5K PDW. That's right. Subsonic 9mm ammo, though. You feel me? That's right. So I added the waveforms to the plots we had before. And now your plots are more rich, more feature-filled. That's right. Feature-rich. Yeah, remember, though? Remember the plots? Remember the waveforms like we had before? Yeah. But before, I had superimposed the blast loads. And I just caught myself. That's funny. I called them blast loads. Actually, now that you guys, it's August it's the end of, it's almost September 2022. You guys have heard me talk to you for a couple years now, right? In articles in the podcast. I'm going to start treating you like you should be treated. I'm going to use words. I'm going to stop sugarcoating things and using terms that are weird. I'm going to start talking to you like your combustion analysts. I'm going to start talking to you like your engineers, understanding the stuff, because you guys are sharp. Okay, so I'm just going to talk like I would talk. So like if I was talking to someone about this, So yeah, where was I? Oh, right. I was talking about blast loads. I superimposed the blast loads. The blast loads from 7.62 NATO, from 5.56 NATO, from Subsonic 300 Blackout. Remember, I did that in Research Supplement 651. And now, let's pull up the article. Pull up the article 685, the new one, and scroll down. You can read it on your off time. You can even pause this podcast and read the article first if you haven't read it or not. Scroll down, and you can scroll all the way down to Figure 2A. Okay. Now, if you look at Figure 2A there, the same waveforms from Research Supplement 651 are there with some additions. Okay, 1 second. So, you saw that 7.62 NATO from a 20-inch barrel and 5.56 NATO from a 10. Wait, no. What did I say? And 5.56 NATO from a 10.3-inch barrel. They're around the same peak blast pressure, the same peak muzzle pressure, right? Yeah. And then you saw that secondary blast with 5.56 NATO. You're like, whoa, what the heck? That's big. Where did that come from? It's crazy, right? Remember? And then what did you see with Subsonic 300 Blackout? Well, the blast load was way lower, wasn't it? Look at that shock load. Look at that blast load look at the muzzle blast. It was lower. Okay. Well, what else did you see? What else did you see? And I'm talking about Subsonic 300 Blackout, still the blue curve. What else did you see with Subsonic 300 Blackout besides a lower muzzle blast than the other two rifles? Well, you saw a waveform that happened earlier in time, didn't you? That's right. It was before the blast load. Before the primary blast, there was something else that happened earlier in time with the 300 Blackout Subsonic. What was it? That was precursor flow. That's right. As the bullet travels down the barrel, it's pushing an air column in front of it, right? There's air in the barrel. Your gun, when you sit there, your gun's sitting there, maybe it's sitting there on the desk in front of you or in your holster. There's air in the barrel right now. That's right. There's air in the barrel right now, and it's sitting there. And when the bullet starts to move, it compresses that air in front of it. That's right. The bullet's moving fast enough to where the air's compressing. Air is compressible. That's right. It's one of the traits it has. Now, all those molecules of air are piling up. They're piling up in front of that bullet. It's like when it's like you're shoveling snow in your driveway. It's like you're scooping up guacamole with a chip. Yeah, those air molecules are piling up in front of the bullet, and they pile up so much that you can see the pile. That's called a pressure wave. Okay? It's not a shock wave. It's a pressure wave. There is a difference. Okay? There is a difference between a pressure wave and a shock wave. I know that people use them interchangeably, and what I'm telling you is that they shouldn't, because they're wrong. Okay, I'm telling you, here at PEW Science, we're gonna kick it up a notch. We're gonna start talking to you like you should be talked to. We're gonna tell you the real deal here. Okay, so what you're seeing there, that first peak, in that 300 blackout subsonic waveform, that's precursor flow in the subsonic flow regime. Okay, now and why can you see it? And guys, I know I'm going to talk about 9mm, but you need to be patient. I don't know if you all remember this, and so that's why we're going over it. So why can you see that first peak? That 146.1 decibels. I'm looking at in the article right there. It says 146.1 dB, and you can see that it's not a shock load. It's a pressure wave with a little bit of ramped rise time right there, right? Why can you see that? Why is it visible? It's visible before, it's in the blue curve. That's the first peak of the blue curve. What's the next peak in the blue curve? 165.7 dB. Quite a bit different, right? Like you're almost 4,000 pascals, compared to less than 500 pascals. So jumping from 146 to 165, that's a lot. That's like, oh, that's only like 20 dB. Well, orders of magnitude more. So why? Why do you see that? Why is that visible? It's because the molecules are talking to each other. Okay, and so bear with me. The molecules are talking to each other, and what are they saying? They're saying, "Hey, bro, what's up, bro? Move out of the way, bro. Hey, bro, you're in my way, bro." You know how they do that? You know why they can do that? It's because they can communicate with each other. Okay, they communicate at the speed of sound in the medium they occupy. That's the definition of what you're seeing. So if you're in air on Earth, the molecules in that air can talk to each other about as fast as 1,100 feet per second or so, give or take, okay? So if you try to make them communicate faster than that, they sort of throw a fit. And that, my friends, is why you don't see precursor pressure waves for the supersonic rifle rounds in the chart, because there was no time to create them. Okay, the muzzle blast dominates everything. There is no separate precursor pressure wave. It's all coalesced in the discontinuity. You moved things faster than the air could comprehend. The air could not understand it. Why? Air can't think that fast. How fast can it think? At its sound speed. That's the definition of sound speed. Okay? The sound speed in a medium is how fast the molecules can interact with each other without freaking out. All right. So what do we see with subsonic 9mm? What do we see with subsonic 9mm? Same thing we saw with subsonic 300 blackout, homie. Precursor flow followed by muzzle blast. And there are some nuances now. And this is so cool. And this is I love being able to show you this. It's like I'm proud of it. For one, it's cool and you should know it. For two, I'm proud of it because it's real and I get to show the world. And it's really cool. I can't believe that no one has ever published this in this way. It's like this entire freaking silencer industry and firearms industry has never shown you this. It doesn't make sense to me. It's not right that you haven't been shown this. So now you have. So check it out. Let's look at it. Let's look at the nuances. Because remember, you're going to see precursor flow followed by muzzle blast. First nuance. You have two barrel lengths of 9mm. Yeah, remember I put two guns in here. I added two guns. Same ammo. Yeah, same ammo. Two different guns. Two different barrel lengths, same ammo. Precursor flow from the full-size SP5 barrel. Oh, by the way, just real quick, The SP5 barrel, or the barrel of an MP5, is 9 inches long. It's 8.9. It's 8.9. Okay, it's actually like 8.85 or something like that, or 8.86, or it's an 8.9 inch barrel. It's almost 9 inches long. Okay, an MP5K with a 3-lug on it, it's 5.8 inches. Okay, so you have a 5.8 inch K barrel and an 8.9 inch full size barrel. Okay, those are the PEW Science test hosts. That's HK. Those are real HK barrels in the test hosts. Okay, so that's standard. I just want you, I like, before we go into this, I want you to understand like what we're doing, what we're talking about. So you have 2 barrel lengths of 9mm, same ammo. Precursor flow from the full size. Precursor flow from the full size SP5 barrel, higher pressure. Why? Well, bullet's moving faster. Has higher velocity, right? You have a longer push distance in the barrel. You get your bullet going faster because the barrel's longer. Yeah. Is it supersonic? Well, no. No, because if it was supersonic, you wouldn't see that pressure wave. You wouldn't see that pressure wave before the muzzle blast, would you? If it was supersonic, that wouldn't be there. Why? Well, because the molecules wouldn't be able to talk to each other. So that's proof right there that it's subsonic in the barrel. How about that? Oh, but he didn't use a chronograph. I don't need to. I don't need to use a chronograph because I understand physics. Okay, so there's that. So yeah, you're not supersonic. The pressure wave's right there. Now look at the K barrel, the shorter 9mm barrel. Okay. And just so you know, so I don't know if did I gloss over it. The precursor flow is higher because the velocity is higher, because what's precursor flow? It's molecules piling up in front of a bullet. If you go faster, you're going to create more pressure in front of the bullet. Remember, we haven't even the bullet hasn't left the barrel yet, guys. It's precursor flow. There's no muzzle blast yet. We're the bullet's still in the barrel. Okay, cool. Now, look at the K barrel. Look at the shorter barrel, the 5.8 inch 9mm barrel. What happens? The precursor flow drops a little bit. It drops a little bit. And do I have it? Oh, I might have a typo in the article. No, I don't. Oh, no, it's right. Okay, good. Yeah, the precursor flow drops a little bit. Now, why is that? Well, it's moving slower. Less molecules pile up. Lower pressure wave. Okay? So you understand it so far. Bullet's still in the barrel. We're pushing air. We're making an air column come out of the barrel. It's a bunch of molecules compressed, and there's a wave traveling through the air. They're all talking to each other. It's there. Okay? Now, what happens when that bullet leaves? What happens when the bullet leaves the crown of the muzzle of the barrel, and then the muzzle blast comes out? Well, you get a shock wave. You get an explosion that comes out of the barrel there. You get a shock wave. Very sudden release of high pressure, high temperature gas to atmosphere. That's a muzzle blast. That's a blast load there. And you know what's really wild about that? The muzzle blast from the short 9mm barrel is higher than the longer barrel. Okay? Just because it's subsonic doesn't make that go away, right? So you have an opposite relationship. You have with like, are you following me? So let's say that again. So you're just so you remember it, because I've literally never seen anyone write this down outside of research articles, and I've definitely never seen a silencer company say it. or measure it or show it to you or talk about it. I don't know why, but I'm telling you this. 9mm out of a longer barrel has higher precursor flow, and the pressure wave is higher amplitude. Okay? And it has a lower blast load. It has a lower muzzle blast pressure. You feel me? So it's important. Keep it stored in your brain. Okay? The relationships between precursor flow and muzzle blast for subsonic 9mm are opposite of each other. Okay? You're moving faster out of the barrel. You're compressing more air. Your first precursor wave is bigger. But when the muzzle blast comes out, it's going to be higher from the short barrel. This should be intuitive to you if you fire short barrel weapons. Okay? There's a lot higher pressure earlier in the combustion. You don't have enough time. You don't have enough time. Your barrel's too short. That's why the Mark 18 is so violent, right? It's supposed to be a 20-inch barrel. It's a 10.3. What happens? You see that secondary muzzle blast? That's what happens. That can happen. You understand? I mean, it's not the only thing that can happen, but it's severe. Okay? 1 second. Okay. So that's that. Keep that in your mind for a rainy day. Okay? It's important for you to know. Just if you're at the bar and you meet some chick and you're like, "Hey, how you doing? I'm so-and-so. What do you like to do?" "Oh, I like to watch TV." "Oh, you do? What kind of shows do you like?" I like to shoot guns." "Oh, really? Are you weirdo?" "No, I'm not, but I can tell you about the physics." And then you talk to her about the physics, and hey, maybe she goes home with you that night, maybe not. Another nuance to this. I just discovered the first one, or just discussed the first one there. Another nuance, besides the difference between the 9mm barrel lengths, is the difference between subsonic 9mm and subsonic 300 blackout. We should talk about that too. Check it out. It's in the figure. The muzzle blast, the blast load from the 8-inch 300 blackout subsonic waveform is higher than from both 9mm barrels. It's higher. Okay. Now, what about the precursor flow, though? It's lower. It's lower than both 9mm barrels. Wild, right? It's wild. Is it the velocity? Well, kind of, in a way. But what is dominating the airflow in front of that projectile? What's dominating it? Remember, we're subsonic, right? So you can use somewhat traditional flow theory here to describe the gas in front of the projectile. All right, what's it doing? Well, it's pushing air into a pile, right? Well, it's not as good at making piles. Why? Because it's pointy. It's pointy and it's smaller diameter, right? You got these discrete ballistics 300 blackout target projectile instead of a spear lawman truncated cone flat point fat 9mm projectile. Different frontal area, homie. Different frontal area. Different pressure wave production, different sport. Remember that? Remember on listener questions back in the day? No, back, I don't know, several months ago or last year or whenever it was, on one of the listener questions, a lady or gentleman asked, what's the difference in sound between different shaped bullets? Remember? Pepperidge Farm remembers. I remember. I am so sorry, guys. I am like super tired. I'm like... I'm doing everything I can for you right now, to stay with you. No, but I remember that, and that later gentleman asked that, and it's really interesting. And remember, I don't know if you remember this, but when I answered, I was like, well, it can definitely make a difference, but it's going to depend on the flow regime, and this is where it would make a difference. So. Because if you're talking about supersonic flow, it can make a difference in a different way. But in subsonic flow, the biggest change would be here. It would be in the precursor. It would be in the pressure wave. And this is a direct illustration of what moving or having to, or more aerodynamic a projectile is, right? More air it moves. The higher the pressure wave. So anyway, I just thought that was interesting. I think that's important. It's it's important for you to understand the phenomena. 2, it's important for you to understand the pedigree. 3, it's important for you to know that this is real. Okay? I've seen some stuff. I mean, I try to ignore it, but it can be damaging just to the... It's damaging to have misinformation out there. I saw some people saying that the information was fake, and no one else could do it, so it must be wrong, or something like that. Which is, both things are completely ludicrous to say. I mean, for one, it's definitely not fake. I mean, this is as real as it gets. 2, I'm definitely not the only one who can do this. definitely been done for decades. So I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I'm sorry. Like, if you're not, I'm sorry. Like, you've never read a textbook before. I don't know what to tell you, buddy. You know, you're gonna call this fake. I mean, you're showing how retarded you are. Frankly, I mean, and sorry, no offense to people that mentally disabled people in their family. But, these people are retarded. So there you go. It's a little different. So this is what you're dealing with. And this is showing you what you need to contain with the silencer, right? So with subsonic use, you're first forcing air into the silencer. Okay? You're forcing precursor flow into the silencer. And then what happens? Well, bullet leaves the barrel and the muzzle blast comes out. Now it's party time. That's right, it's party time. All right. You have these distinct sequence of events in subsonic flow, and now you can see them. You can see them right there on pewscience.com in this research supplement. Research supplement 685. Okay, cool. Cool, right? But wait, there's more. That's right. That was figure 2A, if you were following along. And you know what you can do? You can scroll down further there. You can go to figure 2B. That's right. Same blast loads. Same blast loads that you saw before, but guess what? These are in impulse space instead of pressure space. That's right. These are in impulse space now. Same blast loads. They're the same events. In fact, they're the exact same thing. They're the same waveforms. They're just expressed in impulse space. Okay, we took the area under the curves in the time domain, and then we plotted them again. It's the same thing. And now they're easier for you to read. Now you can draw the same conclusions you drew before that I spoke with you about. You can draw the same conclusions here. It may be a little bit easier for your eyes. Okay, sometimes it helps to hop spaces. We do that sometimes at Pew Science, and I think it's useful to show you the different quantities. Now, when you look at the muzzle blast, you see the 300 blackout subs are more severe than the 9mm PEW subs and the full-size 9mm subs, right? But with precursor flow, the long barrel 9mm is the most severe. Again, followed by the short 9mm barrel, followed by the smallest, the 300 blackout. That's right. Same as you saw in the pressure space. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Okay. So you might be asking yourself, you say, Jay, is Spear Lawman the quietest 9mm ammo? No, it is not. Is it consistent? Yeah, it's pretty consistent, though. It's pretty consistent. Is it going supersonic in these barrels? Definitely not. It's definitely not. If you had a slower 9mm load, would the waveform look different? Yes. How would it look different? Well, the precursor flow might be less severe. Well, what else? Well, the muzzle blast might be less severe too. Maybe you have less propellant, or maybe you have a different burn rate, to get the projectile moving more slowly, maybe. It just depends, right? But now you know what you're dealing with, right? So just like the 7.62 stuff, the 5.56 stuff, the 300 blackout stuff, or 300 blackout subsonic stuff, now you have 9mm phenomenology. You do. It's right there. It's published for everybody. It's public for everyone. Everyone in the world. Okay? Okay, so that's the combustion stuff in the article. There's more in this article. That's the combustion stuff. Now let's talk about the weapons. All right, let me get a drink of water. I wonder what I'm going to eat for dinner. You know, it's so late, I'll probably have to just heat something up. It's one of those days, man. I don't know. I have some other stuff to do this week, too. I didn't have time to postpone it today because I have other things to do. So I was like, well, this is all piling up. I powerlifted yesterday. I had something to do last night. I couldn't prep for this. I had another thing to do today. It's like you just can't. Sometimes you just cannot get it. Just things pile up sometimes, much like molecules in subsonic flow. Okay, let's talk weapons now. HK MP5 system, roller delayed blowback, super technical, super elegant, super awesome. Okay, I use the standard SP5 and SP5K PDW with a couple of key differences. Okay, there's a couple of key differences here. And so the first thing I did was I added stocks for testing. Okay, it was important. Those guns don't come with stocks. So what I did was I added the fixed A2 stock for the SP5, and I added the folding B&T stock for the SP5K PDW. Okay, you've seen me post pictures of those on social media. You might think that was for fun. Well, it is, but also those are the test hosts, so you've seen them. Those stocks, they provide a consistent cheek weld, and that helps with consistent testing and a consistent standard length of pull, because the length of pull is not adjustable in those stocks. Okay, very well-known stocks, very solid. Very comfortable to shoot, very ubiquitous. Okay, if you're an HK enthusiast, I don't think I have to convince you of that. Okay, it's very, very well known. In fact, the A2 stock for the full size gun is the best stock to shoot with, and there is no argument there. I don't think there's an argument. An argument can be made for the SP5K PDW that, or the MP5K, that the choke stock. The choke folding stock is more traditional, and that the B&T side folder that I chose is not true to the lineage. To that I say, I disagree with you that it is not an authentic choice. I do concur with you that it is not as classic. But I would add, the third thing I would say is that I would add, it is better for a test stock due to cheek weld, and it more closely mimics the cheek weld of the A2 on the full-size gun. So in that respect, I believe it to be superior, and that's why it was chosen. Okay, I didn't say all that in the article, so I just want to say it now, in case you were wondering. Now, the next thing I did with the test hosts was that I put an 80-degree locking piece in both of them. So let's talk about it. Okay. So let's go back to the reason we picked the MP5 platform. Okay, so first of all, the roller delayed blowback platform was picked because it's a blowback host that can delay bolt opening for long enough such that many silencers can perform relatively well. Okay, at the shooter's ear. Okay, why? Well, because the combustion in the chamber is able to bleed that, or let me be more exact, the blast pressure in the chamber can bleed down below a certain threshold before the chamber is open to atmosphere completely. It just bleeds down more. It stays locked longer. Okay? So because it does that, and we want that to happen, it would behoove us to make sure we're allowing that to happen as much as we can in a standardized way. Okay? This is preemptive. I'm going to use that word preemptive. I preemptively made this locking piece modification, okay? Let me talk about the locking piece. The 80-degree locking piece was created by HK to slow down the K gun. Okay? Why? Because the carrier's lighter and the travel's shorter, so the rate of fire is faster. And if you add a silencer, it's even faster than that because of the increased flow restriction or the increased back pressure of a silencer, right? What does back pressure do? It increases the dwell. What does that do? Imparts a longer duration pressure pulse. What does that do? More impulse on the bolt head. More area under the pressure time curve. More impulse. Internal. We're talking about internal combustion. We're talking about internal ballistics right now. Internal. More impulse on the bolt head. Okay? So, that's why you add a shallower angle locking piece. Instead of the 100 degree and 110 degree, use a 80 degree. Now, is the locking piece going to make the gun quieter? Well, possibly. Is it going to make the gun louder? No. No, it should not make the gun louder. So, we put the 80 degree locking piece in the K-gun. And as a result, it went in the full-size gun too. That's right. So a couple notes about that. Okay, something you need to understand. Before I finalized this decision, I shot the guns unsuppressed with the 80 degree locking piece, and they work. So the delayed unlock didn't take enough recoil energy away to prevent cycling. That's a fancy way of saying the guns worked unsuppressed with the 80 degree locking piece. Okay? So, this is a caveat I would say. This does not mean your gun will function with the 80 degree locking piece with all ammo. Okay? Do not take this as PEW Science said, Jay said that it's going to work, and look. These are HK guns. Okay? Some clones have different components, different tolerances. Your mileage may vary. Your ammo type, I don't know. I'm telling you, these in the configuration that's shown on my website with the ammo tested, it works. All right? Okay. So, as we progress through this research, keep in mind this is the first. This is infancy. We're just now exploring these hosts. As we progress through the research, we're going to talk more about unlock mechanics and how they influence the weapon function. And we might even talk about the sound signature. Okay? So, but for now, it's important for you to know the configuration of the test hosts. Okay? So just like the Mark 18, these are standard. All right? So what you see here, it'll be used by PEW Science for all the 9mm subgun testing. Okay, there might be some M11 stuff too, clack. But let's be honest, that'll probably be members only if I do that. That's not going to be the public at large. There's not enough of those in existence, or at least, yeah, there's just not enough people shoot them, or we'll be able to access them rather. Also, I'm still trying to figure out how we're going to publish the K-gun data. We have full-size and K-gun data for silencers, so I'm going to have to figure out a good way to do it. It's going to get expensive time-wise, and so we might need to streamline it. I'm thinking about how to do it. The test effort is what it is. The data processing effort is what it is, but publication effort, I don't know if you guys understand how much time it takes to write these articles and prepare them for you, and publish them. Like, there's so much to do and so much goes into it, and it's like, clients pay for a lot of this when it's theirs, and it's just a lot. And so the problem is, here's the thing. It's not a problem, but it is a problem. I literally, like, my head, I have my head in my hand right now. Like, oh my God, here's the problem. I already did it. I already added the 2 hosts. And the reason I did was because it's super important for you to understand that barrel length matters for this. And there are so many different ways to shoot a 9mm silencer. God. You put them on pistols, you put them on subguns, and the subguns can have different barrel lengths. And I know the same thing can be said for rifle guys, but you're in a flow regime now that subsonic 9mm is just so important for silencers, and it is not going to be good if we only do one barrel length right now. It's not gonna work. I think that we're gonna tackle both simultaneously, and I think it's gonna be a good exercise. I'm gonna try it. We're gonna see how it goes. I'm not gonna promise anything, but I'm gonna give it the old college try. And you guys might need to be a little patient with me and understand that it might not be perfect right away in the way it's presented, but I'm going to try my best. And maybe if it goes well, maybe that helps us do that for rifle. You understand where I'm going with this? Okay, but you have to be patient. And you have to be maybe okay with not seeing everything. You understand? And I talked about this many months ago when I said that I might have to streamline some stuff. But I was scared that we're going to lose the data pedigree. And so I can't afford to lose the pedigree, but what we can do is compress some things in publication methods. So I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about it with some clients. You guys are gonna see K-gun data, okay? You might not see K-gun data for every silencer, but you're gonna see K-gun data for some of them. And I'm gonna tell you right now, there's some stuff in store for you that's a little crazy, and it's not gonna be as intuitive as you think, as you change barrel lengths on this host. And I am pleased to inform you that some of the surprises are very positive. And that's all I can say for now. Okay? Now, keep in mind, I'm going to close this topic. Keep in mind that there's a reason I showed you the combustion physics. Okay? Not all designs respond to combustion the same way. Remember the Mark 18. Remember the Helios QD? Remember when folks didn't understand how much barrel length can matter? What if 9mm does something even different than that? What if it just flips everything on its head? Okay. So stay tuned, friends. It's going to get absolutely crazy, probably. But for now, let's dive into the first 9mm subgun review published by PEW Science. That's right, the GSL Phoenix. In topic 2. Topic 2 at a time of 53 minutes. Oh, man. In 15 seconds. How is it 53 minutes? Oh, I'm dying right now. It's only 11 p.m. Okay. We got a good hour before midnight. Let's get this done. All right. We got a good hour. We can do this. I bet, you know what? In fact, I bet you I finish this before midnight. It'll work. All right, topic 2. Sound signature review 686. That's right. GSL Phoenix on the MP5. Oh man, how cool was this? I was actually and that's why I actually pushed forward to get the podcast done, because I didn't want to skip it. I was just looking forward to this so much, because this is such a historic. It's such a historic publication, and I'm not sure. I'm actually not sure how much a lot of folks realize that. I don't know if is it because I'm getting old or what, but it's a really big deal. It's a really big deal that this happened, and I don't think a lot of people even thought about it. Like of all the 9mm subgun silencers to start with. I started with this. GSL Phoenix, the refreshed Mark 9K. Okay, this is a refresh. This is a reboot of the Mark 9K. Okay, the Phoenix is a new version. It's okay. Now, I don't know if you guys remember this. I'm going to date myself more. You remember the Mark 9? Not the Mark 9K. Remember the Mark 9? It was made by AWC. Okay, not AAC. It was made by AWC. All right. Now later, Gemtech had the Mark 9K, and the Phoenix is a new version of the Mark 9K. It's shorter, shorter than the Mark 9. The Mark 9 was longer. And I think AWC, if I remember correctly, had a silencer called the Agenda 6, and the Agenda 6 was shorter than the Mark 9. So I haven't, God, it's been a long time since I've seen one of those. We could Google it. I don't have time right now, but you can Google that on your own time. Regardless, this silencer, the Phoenix, has lineage. Okay, that was that's really the main point I'm trying to get at here. It's a classic submachine gun silencer. It really is. Okay, it's intended for submachine gun use. All right, it's not for handguns. It's not for pistols. All right, it's to put on an automatic weapon. This is for a machine gun. You put it on an automatic weapon, a submachine gun, a sub-caliber machine gun, a pistol caliber machine gun, a submachine gun. I'm gonna keep saying these words so you remember what they mean. It's not necessarily intended for a semi-auto CZ Scorpion. It's like, oh my God, why does that gun even exist? You could put it on there, whatever. It's intended to be put on a full auto MP5. It's an MP5 silencer. That's what it is. All right. The Mark 9K, sorry, the GSL Phoenix. I definitely will make that slip. The GSL Phoenix is an MP5 silencer. Okay, and that's why it's the first one getting reviewed. I mean, what's one of the reasons? It's not the only reason, but it's fitting. It's fitting, and really big thanks to GSL and big thanks to Greg Lotka. The G and the L in GSL. Big thanks to Greg for trusting me to perform the work. It's a really big deal. He's been designing and making silencers for a very long time, and he's one of only a few people that are still around that you can talk to get information from the old days like this. Remember when Tom Bowers came on my podcast? You guys remember that, right? That was a long time ago. What I need to do is I need to get Tom and Greg and Joe Godini all on an episode. Boy, would that be insane. Wouldn't that be fun? And get Ron Allen on there too. Get all four dudes kind of hanging out, talking about silencers. How crazy would that be? I mean, I think that would be a big deal. But yeah, so that's, we owe GSL for this review. I wasn't sure what silencer was going to come first, and I actually wasn't sure when 9mm subguns was going to get tested. I didn't know when I was going to publish it. And GSL drove that train. They approached PEW Science for this because they knew how awesome the Phoenix was. So they're like, dude, you got to test this silencer. I was like, all right. I was excited about it because, for me, it's a huge honor. For me, when I see, people like Greg Lotka coming to me to show the performance of the silencer, I see that as a big deal. I respect him. And I respect a lot of these people, and I think it's important. I think it's important that we have it, and now it's on the website, and it's there forever. So I think that's cool. So before we talk about the performance of the silencer, I want to talk about the silencer itself. I think that's important too. And I will say, and just because I don't respond to things on the internet doesn't mean I don't see them. Okay. So some new school silencer guys, and some folks who have only been around silencers for a couple years and they think they know everything. It's funny. They immediately took to social media to talk about how big the silencer is and that it's huge and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, correct. You can see. I'm glad you can use a tape measure. Yeah, it's 2 inches in diameter. And but it's not as big as a normal submachine gun silencer is at all. This is a K can, guys. When it comes to subgun cans, it's not a remember, it's a refreshed Mark 9K. It's not a Mark 9. It's not a Gemtech Viper or something. It's not a Thompson Machine SG. It's not a Bowers can. It's a Mark 9K. And because of that, it's 7.3 inches long without the mount. Why do I say without the mount? Because it's a 3-lug mount. Fits over the barrel. This silencer is 7.3 inches long. Okay? It's pretty short. It's pretty short for a subgun can. Okay, you add the mount to it, it's 17.9 ounces. It's not compact, but it's not super light. But for a subgun silencer, it's kind of compact and relatively light. So there you go. And that's why I put that in the review. I said it was relatively light. Someone got upset with me about that. We had a discussion about it. We agreed to disagree. He said, no, it's not light because yada yada. I said, no, I think it is. That's what the subjective opinion in the article's for. My subjective opinion is that, yeah, it's relatively light for what it is. It's all aluminum. Okay. The cool thing is you can take it apart. You know, you didn't used to be able to do that with the old subgun cans. With the Phoenix, you can. So that's kind of cool. You didn't used to be able to do that. Now you can. I think that's nice. You don't have to do it very often. You know, if you shoot a lot of full auto through it, you might want to clean it every case of ammo or so. I think it'd be good practice just to make sure it doesn't get crazy. Follow the manufacturer's instructions. It's all aluminum, so you don't want to use crazy chemicals and ultrasonic and stuff on it. But you can use the instructions. Now, the one I tested has a 3-lug mount, and the 3-lug. This is also kind of interesting. The 3-lug it has, it's of the GSL design. You guys are going to learn GSL by the end of this podcast. You're like, who's GSL? It's like, well, you should probably know. All the 3-lugs that you've been using, like everyone, like 99.999999% of people listening to this podcast, the 3-lug mount on your silencer, I don't care whose it is, 99.9999% of people are using the Greg Lockwood design of 3-lug mount. Okay? And when you put it on an HK barrel, you can tell because the tolerance is correct and it fits right. Okay? And I can't tell you how many 3-lug mounts I've tried that don't fit correctly on HK guns. And so I was happy when it fit. All my GSL mounts or my Gemtech, all my Gemtech 3-lug mounts, they're the same things. They've always fit my 3-lug barrels. Fine, just fine. They tend to be the highest quality. I've said this before. This is not the first time I've said this. I'm telling you, they tend to be the highest quality versions of the Lotka 3-lug. I don't know why. I'm not a machinist. Maybe it's because they have the original prints. I don't know. Maybe they know a trick. I don't know. All I know is they fit. And for a user, for me, that's important. Okay? So for this silencer, you can use other stuff besides 3-lug. You can use stuff, I don't know, I put it in the article. Uzi mounts, micro Uzi, MPX, even a Scorpion, if you're into that for some reason. But yeah, let's look at the data. Bottom line up front, 62.4 composite suppression rating. That's right. That's high. 62.3 at the muzzle, 41.3 at the ear. two categories different there. 62.3 down to 41.3. Crazy, right? Wild, almost. To bystanders, when you shoot this weapon system, it's super quiet. It's super quiet. It's ridiculous, actually. And that's with Spear Lawman, 147 grain, homie. That's right. That's full power. Full power, subsonic, self-defense loads, dude. And that's what Lawman mimics. That's what Spear Lawman mimics. It mimics full power self-defense loads. Okay? So imagine what you could do with purpose-loaded, quiet 9mm subsonic with different combustion. Remember? Okay, here's a throwback for all you old school guys. Remember Alabama Ammo? I was like, Alabama Arsenal. I was thinking about the YouTube channel. Alabama Ammo Special K. It's an old different powder load. It's kind of downloaded a little bit too. It's pretty quiet, really quiet 9mm ammo. I think I still have some of that stuff. Imagine how quiet it would be with that, right? But no, I'm using the full power. I'm using full power subsonic load. Use your imagination for all your reloaders out there and other folks, and your hobbyists that love to shoot quiet 9mm stuff. You know what ammo you can use to get it quieter if you're so inclined. The public needs to understand that Spear Lawman is used by PEW Science to be conservative for hearing damage risk. Okay, if I didn't care about you, I wouldn't be doing this. So I'm not going to publish with specialty ammo that no one uses. I'm going to use something that mimics self-defense loads in the hopes that you guys can understand the real hearing risk of these weapon systems, and so you can go on your way with your own risk tolerance. You feel me? All right, 1 second. Okay, so that's why that is like it is. I've said it before, but I think it bears repeating. Now, at the ear, we talked about how quiet this thing is to bystanders. At the ear, guys, the shooter's going to be taking a signature that's not the same as what bystanders will hear. It's different. The shooter. Now, keep in mind, this is a semi-auto weapon, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later. But just remember, context is important. Okay. So what we should do is let's check out the fingerprint. Let's look at the waveforms. Scroll down. I have the review open right now. I have the member review open. You can follow along at home if you like, just like we do every time at PEW Science. You can, on this podcast, you can follow along at home. Just scroll down. We're going to go to Figure 1. All right. So you scroll down to Figure 1. Similar to a Mark 18 test in a way. That's right. Similar to a Mark 18 test. Because what do you see in Figure 1A? You see the bolt closing signatures in late time, don't you? You do. Kind of like you see it with the Mark 18. But what's different now? What's the difference between what you were seeing with the Mark 18 with the 5.56 silencers and this? Well, the amplitude of everything is lower. That's a lot lower. And also a key thing you might have noticed, I hope you noticed this, it's important. You see a bolt closing signature on the last shot. Right? Why? Why do you see that? You didn't see that on the Mark 18 test. Why do you see it in this? Well, the MP5 doesn't have a last round bolt hold open. So you see it closed. You can't get it to stay open like that. You'd have to pull the charging handle back. You'd have to, like, you can't shoot it and have it stop open. So, that's what it looks like when the bolt rides over the follower without a round in it and closes on the empty chamber. That orange waveform in Figure 1A, that's what that is. Now you know. Now, when you go to Figure 1B, you can see the early time nothingness that's happening because it's so quiet. There's not a lot going on. This is early time stuff. This is like really early time stuff. 1 meter left of the muzzle, okay? You can see the peak precursor flow out of the silencer. Then you see peak muzzle blast. It's uneventful, dude. It's Actually, that's a really, really good way to describe the muzzle signature from a GSL Phoenix on this gun. It's uneventful. Okay. That's spear lawman out of a super quiet subgun silencer, guys. That's what that is. I mean, there's not a lot more to say about that. That's what it looks like. And when you look, here's something you can do. Scroll down to the impulse waveforms in Figure 2, Figure 2A, and Figure 2B. You can see something indicative of subsonic muzzle signatures from quiet silencers you saw before. I mean, look at the subsonic 300 blackout testing that you've seen so far from PEW Science. It's just really quiet. Look at the way the waveforms are. Look at the impulse waveforms. Okay? Actually, you know what I'm going to do right now? I'm going to regret this, but real time on the podcast, I'm going to pull up the waveforms from a silencer that I saw. One second. Oh, crap. Open a new window. I just saw something in the impulse waveform that I didn't think about until just now. I was going to look at... Okay, I just went to rankings, ammunition, subsonic 300 blackout only. I'm using the new members ranking table, by the way. It's awesome. Hyperion. Okay, Hyperion 300 blackout data. Nope, that's not it. Damn it, where have I seen that before? Hold on a second, guys. Nope, that's not it either. Maybe it's a Nomad. Oh, I don't have that on 300 blackout. Hold on, I gotta go to... Oh, I'm sorry for taking this detour, guys, but I just saw something and it's late, and if I don't remember, I'm gonna lose it if I don't. No, man, maybe it was on Supersonic 308. Hold on a second. Supersonic 308 only. Where's the Nomad TI at? Clicking it. No. Where have I seen that? Was it Thunder Beast? Similar. Okay, so what I'm looking at, what I just caught that I actually didn't catch when I was writing this, or at least I glossed over it. So when you look at the first round pop data in Figure 2A, you can see how the black waveform hovers above after initial combustion in the weapon system, and clearly it's from extra combustion from air in the silencer, and that's like, yeah, you all know that. That's not the part I'm talking about. The part I'm talking about is that it is more severe than in the other shots, as you would expect, but when you get to the peak at around 33 milliseconds or so, it really doesn't peak much higher. And we see that phenomenon. We actually see that phenomenon. We do see it in Sound Signature Review 624 with the Ultra 9. I think you probably see it with the Rugged Surge. Let's pull that one up. Hold on. In the rankings with 308. I have a point. Just bear with me, okay? Surge in the long configuration, review 22. That's what it was, I bet. Yeah. You see it there too. So what you're seeing is, so this is a phenomenon indicative of a change in signature with not a significant change in severity to your ear. And that's something that I did highlight that in the review in words, but what I didn't talk about quantitatively or semi-quantitatively in the review, and I just caught and you know what? You know why I'm seeing this right now? It's because I'm tired, and like my brain works differently when I get tired. It wanders easier. So like my ADD gets like even more severe, and it allows me to think differently. So what's happening is that your combustion is definitely out of whack on the first shot, as typical because of the air, but the Phoenix is able to deal with that. Okay, and I'm going to talk about this a little bit later, but remember, I don't know if you remember the review, guys, but this is a coax silencer. So what's it doing? It's able to deal with that. It's able to deal with that FRP. Okay, isn't that cool? So that's interesting. It's going to sound different. It's going to sound different, but it's not that much more severe to your ear. So yeah, that's all you're going to see. That's all you're going to hear. The FRP to bystanders might sound a little different, but it's not going to be louder. And in this test, it wasn't louder at all to the human ear. And that is what I mean when I say that, is that it's not more severe to your ear. Okay? That's what I mean when I say louder. So, with all that said, sorry for going off that little tangent, but I think that was valuable. At least it was for me. I'm going to close the ranking section now again. Okay. So, the major stuff I want to talk about actually in this is members only. And as you can imagine, oh man, the at-ear waveforms with the MP5, that's where the magic happens, guys. And this is what, it's really what you care about. Let's be honest. When I told you this was going to be a silencer lover's test, like I remember I was kind of teasing you. I was building some anticipation for this review. And I was telling you, man, for you pure silencer guys, you're going to be excited. I meant it. I did. Okay? Because if you're a long-time silencer lover, you love subguns. You just do. I mean, we all do. We love them because they're cool, man. They're fun. They're cheaper to shoot. They sound cool. It's just a fact, man. And if you don't have any exposure to subguns, you might not know as much about silencers as you think you do. Okay? And that's okay. That's okay, man. But it's important for you to know that. All right? And it's important for a man to know his limitations. It's important. So I want to say right now, I went really deep in this analysis. PEW Science went deep. And I went so deep that I took some risks. Okay? I took some risks. And for that, I want to apologize to the members. I do. And I'm serious. I did write some things in the initial member review that were not correct. I made a mistake. And what I had done is I had incorrectly described some of the weapon kinematics in the shooter's ear waveforms. And I greatly apologize if those misstatements caused confusion. Okay, I sincerely apologize. And like I've said in the past, if I ever find that I made an error in an article, I will issue an errata, and I will make a change and acknowledge it, and I did that here. Okay, because luckily, in a fortuitous fashion, a firearm engineer immediately threw a flag. I was sent a communication. They reached out. We talked. We compared research notes, literally. And through their peer review, that's right, their official peer review of my data, we kind of discovered something. You know, they looked at my data. I shared some stuff with them. I looked at the things they shared with me. We cooperated, and we came to the conclusion that the events that I previously misconstrued with late time phenomena were in fact phenomena occurring before unlock. Okay? And that, my friends, opens up an entire window of analysis for us, and it's gonna be something that's completely PEW Science member centric from here on out. It's only visible in the waveforms measured at the shooter's ear. Okay. And so, you guys just need to know that the MP5 delays unlock through mechanical means. There's a lot of things that are very special about the MP5, and I don't want to talk about it. I actually can't share some stuff I want to share with you, I don't think, just because it's just so awesome. And I can see the graphs in my head, and I just can't talk about them right now, and I want to. It's one of the most studied weapon actions in history, and it's studied by a very good company, HK. And just like FN or Beretta, SIG, Knights Armament, HK really understands the kinematics of their guns. And, so now PEW Science members, you're going to understand them too. Okay, isn't that cool? You get a real life look into this stuff. It's awesome. We're actually seeing things in the at-ear waveforms that are so unbelievably cool. I honestly think if you're a weapons developer, and you need to look at this, because this is offering insight into how to make the gun quieter. Okay, both with the silencer and with weapon mechanics. Okay, it's that high fidelity. It's that real. It's that cool. It's that consistent. Okay, you need to look at this, dude. Like, I'm sorry, because guess what? Someone did, and they helped me, and we got it peer reviewed and we got it corrected. So they're out there, dude. And if you're listening and you didn't look at it and you designed guns, homie, you need to look at this because this is for you guys. This is like, I know consumers are looking at this too, but for one, the silencer manufacturers better be looking at it. If they're not by now, I don't know what they're doing. Dude, Griffin Armament joined. Okay? So, like, if there's, come on, guys. Like, come on. It's right here. You can join too. It's right here. It's right here. Like, what, you can let your pride get in the way? Okay, cool. It's really cheap for you. I don't know what you're doing. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm just trying to say, like, don't get left behind. I'm saying it publicly. It's like, don't get left behind. Guys, come on. It's like, it's really important. Like, it's right here. It's right here. Okay? So yeah, I just want you to I implore you. I implore you, if ask questions, look at the information. You got to weapons developers are looking at this stuff, guys. Okay, it's right here. It's right here. All right? So look. So sorry, non-members, I'm not going to elaborate more than this. You're going to have to become a member to see that part of the review and what I'm talking about. As we progress through the research, I might have to have a members-only podcast or videos, or I don't know what I'm going to do. We got to figure that out, because I can't be. I'm gonna probably have to start talking to you guys outside of the articles, and I'm going to need a way to do that. I don't know. Maybe it's on the website. I don't know if I can host the videos myself. I'd like to keep them off of YouTube. I don't want them to control it. Maybe I can self-host the videos. I don't know how that works. I don't know. If any of you guys that are members, I don't need advice from non-members, although I'm happy to have it. If you want to give me advice, and you're not a member and you won't benefit from it, then that's good on you. I would assume that the members would be more apt to help me with this. If you guys know a good way for me to publish audio or video or both, so it's controlled, let me know. I think some other people do it. Maybe it's Patreon. I don't want to use a third-party service. Those things, they're risky, because they'll shut you down. And with PEW Science, we can't have that, because there's a lot of people that want me dead. So they'll stop at nothing to take the information away. So we're trying to make it so that doesn't happen. So let me know, okay? So what we can do now, since we can't talk about that stuff with beyond members, we can talk about how loud this silencer is on this gun compared with the unsuppressed waveforms. I think that's something we can talk about. I think it's something that's important to understand, because you can see, if you scroll down to Figure 5, it doesn't have any other silencers, because this was the first one. It was kind of like the Surefire RC2 when we kicked off Mark 18 testing, right? So you don't have a lot of context yet, right? What you do have, What you do have is you got unsuppressed loudness, right? You know, and you have the rest of the data set. So when you looking at unsuppressed at the muzzle, it's pretty loud. It's not as loud as you may think, but it's pretty loud. At the ear, no, not as loud as you may think. MP5 has a barrel that's almost 9 inches long, and it delays unlock. And this is subsonic ammo, right? So the suppression rating, or the unsuppressed suppression rating, right? It's about 14 or so at the ear, right? About 14 or so at the ear. That's unsuppressed MP5 with Spearlawman. You know, it's funny. Some folks picked up on that, and they saw that rating is similar to the loudness using a war comp with a Surefire silencer, like, you know, with the 5.56 RC2 or the 7.62 RC2 on the Mark 18. That's right. And why is that? Why is that so similar? It's crazy, right? Well, there's a shock load at your face from the muzzle blast of the MP5 without a silencer, and the war comp leaks, and you get a shock wave at your face from that too. Members have seen that waveform. PEW Science members have seen the at-ear waveform, the shooter's ear waveforms for war comp equipped Surefire silencers on every platform, and you see the shock wave from the leak. Okay, so it just so happens that the two holistic waveforms are similar in severity to your ear. Okay, and that it's a coincidence, but it's kind of crazy. Okay, so people get mad about the war comp data, but hey, it's real. I'm sorry, it's real. So now, if you want to look at other contexts with how loud the Phoenix is, though, because that's the unsuppressed, and now you understand the unsuppressed context of the 9mm MP5. You look at the context of the Phoenix. Well, we don't have other 9mm stuff like that published yet, you know, on the Subgun there. So I put some other stuff in the review for now. Okay, not in the chart, but if you scroll down below the chart, look at the muzzle ratings to bystanders. Okay, how loud is the Phoenix with Spearlawman 147 grain on the MP5 to other folks at your shooting range when you're shooting? Well, it's going to be somewhere between the SIG SRD 762 TIQD on a minifix with 300 blackout subs and a Silencer Central Banish 30 Gold with 300 blackout subs on a bolt gun. You take those two to bystanders, and the Phoenix is somewhere in there. It's somewhere in there on average. Okay? This is a good peg point, right? So what if you're the shooter? What's the severity like with the Phoenix on an MP5 with this ammo if you're the shooter? Okay? The true severity. The gunshot, the action noise, the port pop, all of it added together, the complete signature, the total, the true severity. What's it like? Well, it's like shooting a Nomad TI or a Sandman TI in a 308 bolt gun as a shooter. It's wild, right? You would have never thought. That's what the suppression rating shows, though. On average, that's what you're doing to your ears. When you don't wear hearing protection and you use Spearlawman 147 grain ammo in an MP5 with a subgun silencer like this, you're subjecting yourself to about the same severity as a pretty quiet hunting silencer on a 308 bolt gun. I know it's a weird comparison. I know. But it's as close as you're going to get right now. That's how close the ratings are. Okay? Who else is going to say that to you? Nobody. Okay? Because no one's doing what we're doing. This is true inner ear risk. This is objective. It's not subjective. This is not what you think it sounds like. This is what it's doing to your ears. You see the difference? It's like, I think it sounds like... No. It's not you think it sounds like something. That's not this. That's not the suppression rating. The suppression rating isn't, I think it sounds like this. No. This isn't Pepsi Challenge time. This is inner ear response and inner ear hearing damage risk. Okay? Pepsi Challenge. I almost cursed. Yeah. So all in all, historic, I think. It's fat. It's not too heavy. It's got a great mount. It sounds cool. It's fun to shoot. You can clean it. Not too long. You put it all on all kinds of different subguns. Oh, you know what? One thing I forgot to say. It's coaxial. Did I say that earlier? I think I did. Yeah. You know something funny? This is funny, and I kind of enjoyed this. A guy on Reddit, he asked me when I published this review. He said, since this is coaxial, is it like a Nomad? It was actually hilarious to me that he asked that, because it was cool. It was actually cool that he asked that. It was cool because he learned from PEW Science that the Nomad baffles have annular space to shuttle gas, or to which they shuttle gas. Where do you think that was originally done? Where do you think the Nomad stuff, where do you think the Hyperion stuff, where do you think they all got that idea of sending gas to the outside of a silencer? I mean, who has done that before? Where do you think all of these silencers saw that type of thing get proved out in practicality, in practical use? Man, it's old Mark 9K stuff, man. This is the Phoenix. This is an old coax silencer. They send gas immediately to an outer annulus the entire length of the silencer, man. This is true coax. It's true coax. This is a pure coaxial silencer. This is one of the reasons it's cool on a machine gun, dude. You can send that gas to the outside. It's cool, man. It's cool. Is it perfect? No, absolutely not. Not by any stretch of the imagination. Is it one of the all-time coolest subgun silencers we have? Absolutely. It absolutely is. I'll go on record. I'll say it. This is one of the coolest. It's one of the coolest subgun silencers we have. The collective we. That's right. Now I put some tidbits here. Put some tidbits in the conclusions of the review that are worth checking out, I think. Check out the patent links. Put some patents in there for you. The 3 lugs, the Gregory S. Lotka GSL design 3-lug mounts that but remember, guys, like I said earlier, you all use it. All of your 3 lugs are Greg's 3 lugs. All of them. Stop forgetting where you come from. Because I'm going to keep reminding you. Okay. No, so there's that. And then I put a Tim Bixler mount patent in there too. And stay tuned, because I'll be talking to you guys about that later as well. So yeah, I thought that was cool. I just put those. I'm just giving you guys a hard time. I put those in there in the review for historic reasons. I actually did put a sentence in there in the subjective conclusions there. I said that PEW Science considers it historically significant that the Phoenix silencer and this mount are now present in the silencer sound standard. And I do sincerely mean that, and that's why I wrote it. I do consider this to be historically significant for PEW Science, for Greg, and for the state of practice. And so I really just can't thank you enough, Greg. I don't know if you'll listen to this or not, but I just want to go on record as thanking you publicly for trusting me to do it, and I hope I did a good job for you. I was talking to Josh and Bobby from CGS about it the other day. I was talking to Josh and Bobby, and I said, first of all, I thank them for believing in me, because I don't know if you guys know this, CGS is one of the companies that from the very beginning believed in what I was doing, like way before they were a client, way before they were, they had me help them with stuff. They believed in what I was doing, and I told them, I said, hey, thank you for believing in me. I never thought in a million years I was going to have Greg Lotka as a client testing his silencer. I was like, I could not. I just got tickled, and it kind of made me emotional a little bit. I was like, this is really cool, and like it's like a dream. It's honestly like a dream to me. So I'm just really happy about it. I'm honored, and I think it's so nice and so great. And I wanted all of you guys to know that too. And so my way of saying that to you, without getting all sappy and long-winded on the article there was I wrote I considered it historically significant, and so that was my way of saying all that. So I think that's why I said it. I hope you understand the gravity of it and then what it means to me, and so that's why when I saw people making fun of his silencer there on social media, like little idiot kids saying that stuff, I thought, how disrespectful you are. How disrespectful you are. And I think it's shameful. And I think that, people think things are funny and they make jokes a lot. And I think that's fine. I like it. I laugh at jokes too. But for me, I was like, you guys are just showing your immaturity. And so I hope you grow up. So yeah. So there's that. And then, yeah, I think that's pretty much all I got. I think that's pretty, now that I've pissed off probably like all kinds of people. I don't care. You guys know me. You're not going to get under my skin, but I'll get under yours. Okay. So that's all I have on that. I hope you guys found that informative. All right, let's move into topic 3 at a time of 1 hour, 35 minutes, and 41 seconds. Seriously though, these kids nowadays, man, I don't know what it is about this generation. They just don't respect people, man. It's just wrong. Topic 3. Yeah, no time for a SCAR update today, clearly. I mean, we're an hour and a half in here. I swear, I'll talk to you about the SCARburator next time, guys. I'm sorry. It's just been a minute. I just didn't have time today. But I did want to tell you, because I have a lot to talk about with that SCARburator. I think I want people to understand how it works. I do not want people to misunderstand what it is. So I think it's important. Now, I wanted to give a quick administrative update. If you're a PEW Science member, and if you've been frustrated using the rankings table because the review links take you to the free reviews, well, you're in luck. You're in luck. I created a separate table for members, and now when you're a member and you use that member table, you have links to the member reviews. I think it's cool. I hope that helps. I know that you got to be logged in to use it, okay? And so you got to be on that page. So if you're looking, I tried to help you. So if you're looking at the free table, you'll know because there's a hyperlink in the free table to go to the member table. So that's how you know you're lost. Okay, I know it's not the easiest website to navigate. I know. I'm doing all this stuff. I'm trying to make it a little easier. And so I think this should fix several navigation related complaints about the website. They didn't want to search in the member search box, and it's like, I know it's slower than the Google search box because of the way it works and just the coding. And so I hope this helps. Please let me know if there's other stuff that would make it easier for you to navigate. I do obviously I take the suggestions under advisement, and I do consider any and all feedback. Okay. So you guys make this happen, you members. So really, I think you guys I'm trying to cater to you as much as I can. So please, feedback is important. Now, this was a big week. This past week was a big week for PEW Science. It was a big week for PEW Science members. You got peer-reviewed weapon kinematics in an article. And you got better links in your table. So I think that's a win-win. I want you guys to know, even the folks I was giving a hard time about being immature and joking and stuff. I like jokes. I like the memes, things like that too. But you guys gotta, I'm not mad at you, but yeah, you gotta be careful. There's so many folks that came before you, and it's just important, and I think they can all take jokes too, but just have some respect sometimes. It's just dang it. It's just not, you have some class sometimes, okay? It's just really important. And I want, for silencer lovers, and it's not any one thing, and it's not any one person. It's just, I just noticed this thing where, and it happens, it doesn't only happen with this stuff. I've seen it with other silencers too, other companies, and it's like, these people work hard, and they work hard to make products that work well, to their design intent, and some of them are they've been in it for a long time for the love of the game. That you might not realize it, but some of you guys that are just starting out in this, you guys love this stuff just like they do with a passion, and they were young too once and learned stuff, and so you just got to remember. And what, kind of why we're all here, and we're all trying to make this better together. And I know that there's a lot of infighting and everything in the silencer industry because it's always been like that. And whenever you have a metal tube, that it's a mystery inside, whether that be a silencer or a flashlight or a sex toy or whatever you use in tubular form, it makes people go crazy. And I think it's always going to do that to the general public. And so I think all we can do is keep on keeping on. All right. So thank you for listening. I hope you find this episode informative. We're quickly going off the rails here because I'm tired. But we did complete it before midnight. It's now 11:40 p.m. Central Time. So I hope you have a great rest of your week. And if you haven't checked out the Public Research Supplement or the review, I encourage you to do so. Both are historic. Never been done before. Literally, though. Never been done before. Ever. So there you go. So stay safe out there, friends, and I will talk to you folks again soon. All right, bye.